morning, everybody, and welcome to another installation of Cooking at Home with Tess. My name is Tess Conley, and I'm the Activities Coordinator here at the Beverly Council on Aging. And today, we are making a 4th of July themed, in name, cookie, Snickerdoodle Dandies. Best Snickerdoodles you'll ever have, trust me. You can find this recipe on page 5 of your newsletter. Normally, the first thing we're gonna do is turn our oven on, but because our dough has to chill for a little while, we're gonna save that for later because we're just gonna save the energy and we don't wanna heat our whole house up because it's hot. So we're going to start by combining our coating for our Snickerdoodles. So we're gonna take 5 tablespoons of white sugar and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, and we're gonna mix them together in a bowl. All right, once you've mixed that together, set it aside. We can kind of forget about it for now. Next, we are going to combine our dry ingredients. So in this bowl, I have 2 3/4 cup flour. I have 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. I have 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, if you don't have cream of tartar, do not stress because there are a lot of easy ways to substitute for that. So cream of tartar is a really easy ingredient to substitute. It is a very acidic ingredient, so you just have to sub it with another acid. So I would typically use baking powder. So for every teaspoon of cream of tartar you use 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Really easy. So put that all in the bowl, and we're just gonna mix it with our whisk to combine everything and get all the lumps out. Once your dry ingredients are whisked together and combined, we can set them aside for another day. Now we're gonna cream together our butters and our sugars. So get a bowl. This would be a great time to use a hand or a stand mixer, but I'm gonna do it by hand to show you that you don't need any fancy equipment to make these cookies. So we are going to add 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks. I'm using room temperature butter because it just is better to cream. You're not gonna get any lumpy butter lumps in your recipe, and everything will just be more evenly combined. And in this cup, I have 1 1/4 cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of packed brown sugar. Packed brown sugar just means when you put it in your tablespoon, really kind of push it in there, get out any air bubbles, and make sure it's just full of brown sugar. We love that. All right, now I'm gonna take my whisk and I'm gonna cream these together until they're nice and light and fluffy and totally combined. All right, so you'll know that your butter is nice and creamed together because you're gonna get a nice, light, fluffy, yellow texture and consistency. All right, so now that we're all creamed together, we're gonna add 2 eggs, 1 at a time. If you get a little bit of shell in your mixture, do not fret. The easiest way to get it out is with your eggshell. So mix your egg in, and now we can add our second one. Right, and combine your eggs in. Your eggs are your emulsifiers, which means they hold or bind your recipe together. Now we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. All right, by now you should have a really nice, smooth, yellow dough that you're working with, kind of wet, kind of loose, but it's gonna tighten up as soon as we add our dry ingredients. Remember these guys? Let's give them one more little spin to make sure that all of our ingredients are evenly distributed. Now we're gonna add our dry into our wet. I'm gonna do about half at a time so it doesn't make a big mess. So we're just gonna mix until combined so we don't overwork our dough. The rest can go in. Now you can see we're starting to come together. And that's how you make your dough. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna chill it for about 30 minutes in the fridge. so. We're gonna put it out on a piece of parchment paper or plastic wrap, or you could even put it in the bowl. It just might take a little bit longer. Make sure you scrape all of that goodness out. And as always, the most important part is you try it. Oh, so good. Let's wrap this up. If you put your dough in flat, like more like a disc, it's gonna chill quicker. If you put it in a bowl, it might take closer to an hour. All right, so now we're gonna start scooping our dough, but before we do that, let's turn our oven on. It's going to be set to 350 degrees, and by the time you have all your cookies all scooped out and rolled, it should be hot enough. So you're gonna take your tablespoon, and you're just gonna cut out little tablespoon-sized balls of dough. So once you have your dough all scooped out, you're gonna roll it in a ball between your palms. And then toss it in that sugar cinnamon coating that we made earlier. Cute little nugget. And put it on your pan. Once you scoop out and roll as many cookies as you're ready to eat, we can get them in the oven. Your dough will freeze really well, so if you want to pop it in the freezer and save some for another time, you can do that. Just take it out a couple hours before you need it, or you can keep it in the fridge for about a week. Once you take your cookies out of the oven, let them cool for a couple of minutes on the pan before removing them. After that, you can jump on Facebook or on the phone and brag about how you make the best Snickerdoodle cookies in town. Once again, my name is Tess Conley, and I'm the Activities Coordinator here at the Beverly Council on Aging, and feel free to give us a call if you need anything, and let us know how they come out.